It can be overwhelming to know what to look for when you're picking out a new backpack. At least it was for us when we first started backpacking.
You wear your backpack all day long when you're out there, so it's gotta be comfortable. But it also has to have the right capacity, and there's so many more features to choose from. Some of those features are just a gimmick, and others are really important.
We've had the opportunity to try out many backpacks over thousands of miles of backpacking, so let's get into it. Let's take a minute to talk about the big stuff first before we dive into all the little features. So I'm talking about capacity in terms of volume and weight the pack can carry, the weight of the pack itself, and the size. What size fits your body?
So the capacity of a pack is how much stuff it can carry in terms of both volume and weight. If you're just getting one pack, it makes sense to think about what is your most common use case instead of getting something matched perfectly to one trip as opposed to perfectly to another, and then you end up with a million packs like we have. So the capacity volume is usually measured in liters, and they range from 20 or 30 liters up to 80 or 100 liters. For us, we usually use 50-liter packs, and that's pretty good for trips of the lengths we're doing, or when we're through hiking, it's good for the length of up to a week or so between towns for us. But again, that's because we have minimal stuff, and it really depends on how much stuff you're carrying. You might want more capacity, you might be fine with less. There's also the capacity in terms of weight rating. So some packs are rated to only carry 20 or 25 pounds, and other packs are rated to carry 30 or 50 or even more than that. If you exceed the weight rating of your pack, it's going to carry your gear uncomfortably, and it also might break. The frame on the inside can actually snap if you overload a pack. So just try to get the capacity that's right for your typical trip. It's usually okay to stretch it, but put in a little more stuff or a little less stuff. But overall, it's best to be about where you are.
Tell me about Gavin.
Oh, my friend Gavin. All right, before we go any further, let's take a minute to talk about GEM, the sponsor of this video.
This video was brought to you by GEM.
Just like choosing a backpack, choosing where to get vitamins, nutrients, and minerals is an important decision that's complicated by a lot of options and potential benefits, but it can be hard to know which to choose.
We really like GEM Bites, which are a daily multivitamin packed with over 20 vitamins, minerals, prebiotics, and superfoods.
They taste absolutely amazing, which keeps us coming back for more, and what's really unique about them is that they're made with real food, just like all of the recipes we prepare for the trail. In fact, all of GEM's bites are formulated for optimal absorption using entirely real food ingredients like citrus, mushrooms, black pepper, stone fruit, and a whole lot more. Plus, they're gluten-free, soy-free, and vegan.
They're also eligible to spend health savings account funds on, so head to the QR code shown here or the link in this video's description and use code THRUHIKERS for a special discount on your first month of GEM. And I can't emphasize enough that they really taste great. Now let's get back to the video.
He was out buying a pack, and I gave him some advice that was actually wrong. So I said, yeah, think about how much you need and don't get a pack that's too big. And he actually came back and he said, well, I got an 85-liter pack. That's huge, but he was just right to get it because his use case was he was going to be packing with a bunch of Boy Scouts, and 10, 12-year-old kids, they might not be able to carry stuff, whether they get sick or homesick or uncomfortable. And he was thinking, in case something happens, I want to be able to double my capacity to make the kid comfortable. And he was optimizing for having a group that had a fun trip, not optimizing for what we usually are, which is like, make sure I have a fun trip, or hopefully Renee too, but I'm not worried about carrying her stuff if she can't. So that's capacity.
All right, so weight of the backpack itself. So when we first started backpacking, I think Tim's backpack, just the backpack alone without anything in it, weighed 7 pounds. Now our backpacks with all of our gear, they're about 10 pounds. So weight is definitely something to look for. It can kind of sneak up with you.
Yeah, and the weight, like less weight is always better, but not everybody needs to be an ultralighter with a 1-pound backpack, but just think about what you're using it for and be on the low end of where you can be financially, where you can be for the gear you're carrying. Less is always better, but within reason.
Yeah, And a backpack is a great way to save, you know, 6 pounds by just the backpack alone.
That really is crazy. My pack was 7 pounds and now it's 1 pound, so.
All right, and then size. So this is how it fits you. So you'll might need a tape measure if you're ordering it from a online store or at REI or a gear store. They can help measure it for you. It kind of differs by every manufacturer, so look at their guidelines for, you know, you'll probably need to measure your back and your hips, and yeah.
Yeah, so like even when Renee and I are carrying the same exact model of pack and the same exact capacity, we each carry a different size. Her pack is a small, my packs are usually a medium, and it would be really uncomfortable to get that wrong. There's a lot of adjustment with different packs, so you can tailor it somewhat to fit your body, but you can't tailor it completely. So make sure you put some thought into getting the right size.
Let's make a trip to REI.
So when you're at a big store, there's a lot of backpacks to choose from. There's walls of backpacks, and it can be hard. One thing to do is get your backpack fitted and try it out and see what's sort of right for your body. While we were at the shop, I tried out an Osprey Exos 58, which was nice. It's a very popular thru hiking backpack that is also good for general use. It's relatively light, relatively inexpensive, but that's about as lightweight as you can go at a major store. All these backpacks in front of you, maybe with the exception of the Hyperlite here, aren't available at REI. These are all ordered from cottage companies, and a lot of them are made in USA and support local economies. So don't forget about cottage brands for picking your backpack.
Yep, they make some really awesome products as well. All right, this is my Zpacks Arc Air 50-liter backpack. It's linked below if you'd like more information on it, but this pack has been with me for 5,000 miles. I took it on the Continental Divide Trail, the Pacific Northwest Circuit, and my Oregon FKT on the PCT. Yeah, my FKT of the Oregon section of the PCT. Anyways, so this style of backpack has this one main compartment here and just minimal pockets, just very simple and very easy to use. Simple is better. There's less things to break, but that's just my opinion. So getting into it, it's a super lightweight backpack. I love that about it. It is also made of Dyneema, which is very water resistant. Another pro of the Zpacks is it has these load straps. This is just super comfortable. The cons on this backpack are very minor, but the side pouch is just a little bit on the small side. You can only, you know, fit 2 water bottles in here, and it's very tight and snug. But you know, it works. And then another con about the backpack is it's a bit pricey, and you have to buy all of the accessories separately. You know, these hip belt pouches, which are extremely convenient for cell phones and snacks throughout the day. You have to buy those separately. My friend Alex really loves his water pouch where you can put a water bottle right here. Those are all sold separately. So that is the only con, but this is an amazing, simple yet effective backpack.
Next, we've got the Hyperlite Unbound 40. This pack is nominally 40 liters, but in reality, it's about the same size as the Zpacks Renee just showed. It is even more durable material than the Zpacks, and also a waterproof design, or water resistant. These waterproof designs, we never trust them to be 100% waterproof, but they're quite water resistant. So same design with one main compartment, 2 side pouches, and a big pouch here that really expands. I used this on the Tahoe Rim Trail last summer. I've used it on the skiing in Desolation Wilderness, and we've used it on some other trips. This is really a great pack. Some features that are great about it are this material is really quite durable, but what really makes it stand out the best, especially what we like more about this pack than the Zpacks, even though those are usually our go-to, are the side pouches. So as you can see, there's 2 water bottles in here, just like Renee showed on the Zpacks, but these are huge. I can fit a third water bottle in there when I really need to. So when I have to have a flexible load and sometimes carry a lot of water, it's great to be able to carry a third bottle. Or I can even fit my stove in this side, so for cold, or not my stove, my pot. So for cold soaking, I can cold soak on the side of the backpack instead of in the main compartment here. Another nice thing about the Hyperlite is these hip pouches. They're comparable to the Zpacks hip pouches, but they are sewed on. They're part of the backpack, so you don't have to order these separately and feel like you're getting worked at the checkout. One of the biggest drawbacks of this pack, though, is that it doesn't have load straps. The load strap lets you adjust how close or far a backpack is from your back, and it's a little extra adjustment right above each shoulder. And I don't know why, but Hyperlite doesn't put it on. And they really let you sort of make adjustments during the day on the fly that can make the pack closer to your center of gravity or farther back. And so I really wish this pack had load straps. In fact, of all features on backpacks, that is definitely one to look for, is packs with load straps. Another drawback, though, is it's a little heavier than the Zpacks. So, you know, this is a very light backpack compared to a traditional pack, but it's not quite as light as I'd like to see it. So here's a totally different style of backpack. This is the Six Moon Designs Flight 30, and as you can see, it's tiny. So this is a frameless backpack. It's got no internal frame. It doesn't even have a hip belt. It's got a special type of shoulder strap that's really meant to harness your body well. And this only makes sense if you're doing really light loads and have a really small set of stuff. But this style, you can use it for fast packing, which is when you're doing like long distances pretty quick, but not huge trips where you're needing several days worth of food in a pack or lots and lots of water, because it just doesn't have the capacity for that. It would get really uncomfortable to carry a heavy load in here, even if it fit, because it's not transferring the weight to your hips, it's keeping it on your shoulders and chest. But this style pack is pretty popular for ultralighters, and this is a great version. It's not waterproof, this one, and that would be something I would look for if I were getting another one, because like we've said, waterproof packs are really great, or water resistant, I should say. But you've got bungees on the outside, which are kind of nice. So this is another great option. One more feature that makes a pack like this nice is these built-in pockets on the shoulder straps. So you can put 2 water bottles right there on your shoulder straps where you have easy access. You've got some more pockets, and so even though it doesn't have a hip belt with hip belt pockets that you can put things into, it does have shoulder straps that sort of serve that purpose instead.
This is my ULA Ohm. I carried this on the Pacific Crest Trail and did a lot of backpacking in Germany with it. It probably has close to 4,000 miles on it now. Haven't used it in a while, but it's too sentimental to get rid of. Tim carried a very similar backpack. He carried the ULA Circuit on the PCT, which is just a slightly larger capacity than the Ohm. So this is a great backpack. Again, very similar setup, one large compartment with just the same pockets as the others. The major drawback of this pack in my mind is that it is not Dyneema. It's made of nylon, and on the Pacific Crest Trail, it didn't rain the entire time until the last 2 weeks. It was a perfect backpack the entire time. And then it started raining for 2 weeks straight in Washington, and the backpack was just soaked. Our waterproofing system was to use garbage bags inside the pack, which kept all of our stuff completely dry, but just having a soaking wet backpack every day just got kind of annoying. It's an amazing backpack. It's a pretty good price too. That's another positive about it, but I'm really liking my water resistant backpacks these days.
So another feature we look for is to have a strap on top, because we like to be able to put our sleeping pads right there with the strap. So I just put my sleeping pad on top and buckle it in, and this is where I'm going to carry it. Sometimes you can find packs that have like a Y-shaped top, so you can have 2 straps instead of 1, which works, but we found it's not necessary. Just these things are so light that anything on top is enough for holding them in.
All right, so let's just summarize the features that matter to us, and then we'll talk about some other features that might matter to other people that are also available in backpacks. So weight in terms of the weight of the backpack, how light it is. Material, we really love Dyneema because it's water resistant. We like the simple design with just the minimal pockets, less things to break. And the load straps, that's another thing. So I think those are the main features that matter to us when we're backpacking.
Yeah, really with an eye for simplicity and weight. It's nice to have something light. It makes your trip happier when you're not bogged down with heavy weight, and simplicity. There's less to break. Yeah, so should we get into the features that we don't like that come in a huge variety when you're picking a pack? And you know, we aren't saying these features are across the board bad, but they aren't priorities for us. So the first of these, if you see, there's backpacks that have a brain on top, which is like an extra piece that sits right above the main compartment. It's often removable and you can fit extra stuff there. The idea is you put your map there or whatever you want to put on the top, maybe your toiletries. This just adds extra weight up high, which is not comfortable and it doesn't carry well. And generally speaking, if you can just put the weight in the pack, it's going to feel better in general. And on that topic of the brain and extra space there, extra pockets and zippers generally, for us at least, they take away from the experience. They make the backpack more complicated, they make it heavier, and they give it more stuff to break. So one example of that is a lot of backpacks have an extra zipper down low so you can get your sleeping bag out without worrying about everything else in your pack. How often do you need your sleeping bag when you don't need everything else in your pack? So this zipper can break, and
we just don't see a use for it.
Right.
So.
Likewise, when you see packs with small pockets up and down the sides, those small pockets, they can only fit certain items, and those certain items could fit inside the pack also. So there's another thing where you have things that can break. Our friend Jeff Garmeyer, I actually bumped into him on the Tahoe Rim Trail last summer. He was trying to set the fastest known time around Lake Tahoe, and he had to call his trip short because his pack, it was a trail running pack, it was different from a backpack, but it had some zippers, and one of the zippers broke, and as far as he's explained it, just he couldn't keep his stuff with him. It was all falling out, and that ended his trip. So the more failure points you have on a pack, the more likely you are to have to end your trip early. Something else we don't care about is a internal pocket for a water bladder. Some of the packs we even showed a minute ago they come with these internal pockets where you can slide a 2-liter water bottle and get a tube.
Not water bottle, water bladder.
Water bladder.
Yeah.
Have a tube come out so you can suck from it as you're walking. Some people love those. If you love it, go for it. In our case, the first thing we do is we remove that pocket from the pack because we don't like those bladders. They actually, they make it hard to know how much we're drinking during the day. So if you're thinking you have 2 liters in your pouch and then all of a sudden you suck and the straw's dry because you've emptied it, then you could be in trouble. And for the two of us, we like to just see how much water is in those 1-liter bottles that we keep on the sides. Something else that a lot of packs brag about when you're at the store is having really comfortable padding on the shoulder straps. And sometimes they have lofting that keeps the backpack lifted off your back for more airflow. We tend to think of these as unnecessary extra weight. So in terms of having a backpack on your back, almost every backpack ends up on your back and makes your back hot. And that's just the nature of the sport. So I've never found a pack that has such a great loft that it really makes my back any more comfortable, and I just live with the sweat. And then when it comes to padding on the shoulder straps, if you're using your internal frame and hip belts properly, most of the weight should be down on your hips, and even with minimal, not no padding, but minimally padded shoulder straps, it might be, for me, it's just as comfortable because I don't want the weight there in the first place. So again, that's extra weight.
More squishy stuff to get full of sweat and salt and
smell.
So, yeah.
So sort of general rule of thumb on features is the less the better. You know, it needs to have the right size, it needs to have the right capacity, it should be durable, and some features different people find that they care about. Like Renee said several times, we do care about having water resistance on our packs, but other features, they do a good job of selling backpacks in the store. They don't necessarily do a good job of making a backpacking trip better.
Yep.
Thanks, everybody.